Hello everyone, this is Danielle from the Frugal Navy Wife. I'm making this video today because I've had several people ask for help on making Pinterest-ready pictures with PicMonkey. And while it's easy for me to try to explain, it's a lot easier when you can follow along and do as I do. So I'm making this tutorial to show you how to do it. First, I want to just show you, this is thefrugalnavywife.com. And this is some of my pictures, as you can see right here, that I've done. They're basically very basic, clean, eye-catching pictures that I use. Ones that are recipes like this, these images I own. They're my images. And ones that are like this, or the wines, those are stock images. And I'm also going to show you where I grabbed those from. You can find them, and then you put your text on, and you're good to go. As you can see, these are just very clean. This is my other site. It's Road Schooling with the Frugal Navy Wife. You can get to it the easy way from frugalnavywife.com, clicking here, or at roadschoolfnw.com. But these are some of my travel pictures as well that, this is a stock image, all these. And you can see if you have a picture that has white background, you can use a color banner. So it doesn't always have to be white. These are some old pictures that need to be redone. Or you can use color. The big thing about the banners is that you want to make sure that when people are scrolling Pinterest, that they can see that and be like, oh, that looks like the Frugal Navy Wife's picture. You want some kind of consistency. It's okay to have things a little bit different. Like this one, I didn't put a banner because I used the sky. It was all one color. It's okay to have things a little bit different, but you do want some consistency. My friend Stacy over at $6family.com, she also does these, and let me take a moment to get off topic and tell you, if you can't tell that I recently bought an RV from my other site, Google will tell you. Google knows everything. They also, I noticed down here, know where I shop, apparently. But that's off topic. She does her pictures, and here's a couple of hers, and they are, not just white. They have the color on them. This one's purple, and this one is a little bit off her beaten path. Again, like I said, they don't always have to be cookie cutter, but this one catches the eye. This is one of her best viewed posts. And then she's got some others that have some color to them as well. Again, Google knows. But, this one has the color to it. Most of hers are this red and white, and you will see that in a lot of her pictures, and that's a good eye-catching color on Pinterest. And then this one's the green. You just got to go with what you think looks good on the pictures. So let me exit out of some of these tabs, and we will get going on how to do one. And I'm actually going to do a real picture with you here. I have a post over here that I'm doing. It's a farm unit study. So, I already have the post semi-drafted up here. I've still got to do some work on it, but I'm going to walk you through how I do my pictures. So the first thing I do to get stock photos is I use Dollar Photo Club for most of my pictures. Not all of them, but most of them. And you go in here and you type what you're looking for. So let's do just a very basic search. Sometimes you have to get very specific if you're looking for certain things. But one thing you want to keep in mind with Pinterest is they respond better on Pinterest to vertical images that are up and down. So you can come over here to the side and select only vertical images. That way you don't find an image that you love and fall in love with it, and it's not going to work for you. And I won't lie, there are sometimes I sit here and have to search for several pages just to find something. Like this one. This one's okay. So what I do is I'll open it up, and I'll open the link into a separate tab, just off over here. So I have it, and I'll usually find several pictures that work, and then I'll pick the best one that I like. So I'm going to go through here and just see what I can find. something else to look at is if you click on a picture like this one that you like, it just opens up right underneath the row that you're looking at on the page. They have images from the same series or similar images. It's always a good idea to take a look down here because this is how I found some, whereas I like this one, but I don't like that it has the trees up here. But this one down here is a lot like that one. It just doesn't have the tree branches. So that's something to keep in mind when you're looking for pictures. So as you can see, I'm about 3 pages in. I haven't found anything that I absolutely love. So I'm going to go and in the top here, I'm going to type in a different search term. Now, one thing that you can try for farming is, obviously, barns. I've seen a lot of barns. And again, switch over to your vertical image. And see what comes up. Now, you might not always be successful your first couple turns around here, but let's see what there is. So after searching several different search terms, including farm, farming, ranch, farm animals, plowing, tractors, etc., these are the pictures that I ended up with. This one here, I like this one. This is the one I will probably end up going with. It has plenty of space up here to add a banner that doesn't interfere with the actual picture. This one up here, like I said, I didn't like the trees on here, so we'll get rid of this one. This one came up with a ranch search, but it doesn't really give the aspect of farming that I want. So we'll get rid of that one. This one came up, and it's kind of eye-catching, but again, it doesn't, to me, it just doesn't strike farming. So that's more like planting, crops and everything, but not the farm aspect. And then a bale of hay, not really the way I want to go. So we're going to go with this farm with a windmill, and just click download. And usually it takes a minute or two, and it's not going to be blurry like this. This is just their preview. They don't give you the best image as a preview so that you don't try to snag a free one. Okay, so now that we have our picture, we're going to go over here to PicMonkey. And you start by just clicking edit, and it will upload or bring up your downloads file, which is where the pictures from Dollar Photo Club download. Click on your picture, and it'll bring it right up. Now, one thing to keep in mind, over here under resize, these pictures are really huge. And you don't want to continuously uploading huge pictures to your website because it holds and takes up a lot of space. So one thing I do is I change the size right away. It also makes editing a lot easier. I come over here, and this one is for height, the one all the way over here on the left. So what I do is I change that usually to 700. That, as you can see down here, brings it to this is 93%. This is just a little bit, it's going to be a little bit bigger than this, but that's a good height for pictures. You hit apply, and then you come over here, click on the little butterfly. That brings up what's called overlays. If you wanted to add another picture on here, you could click create your own. They have all sorts of different pictures and stickers and different labels and different things that you can put on here. I go to geometric and just get a basic rectangle. You can move it around. The one thing I like about the rectangle is you can resize it any way that you want. A lot of them will stay proportionate. This one will not. So you just put your banner across your top, make it as wide as you want. I come over here and I change the color from black to white. If you want to do pictures like the $6family.com does with the bright colors, you can change it to your colors. You have them all over here. You can use hex codes up here, but I just stick to the white. And then I take it and I fade it a little bit. And I don't fade it a lot because then there's no point of really having a banner there, just a little bit. And that makes it so that if there's anything behind it like the tree, you can tell, and it's not just a big banner. You'd still be able to see a little bit of what's behind the picture. Now, if that tree wasn't there, there would really be no point in fading the banner. You just write across there. You would never know the banner was faded. So then you come over here and you click on the letter T for text. And sometimes PicMonkey lags just a little bit. Just bear with it. And it brings up your text. And this one, when you have it selected on Hours, is the text that PicMonkey provides. And over here you see these little crowns. These are for their paid members. It's called a royal feature. I am a paid member. It's a small yearly fee, and I really think it's worth it to get all the paid stuff that comes with it. Being that Photoshop is several hundreds of dollars, this one I think it's like $10 or so a year or something. I'll have to get you the exact amount, but it's pretty cheap. You can also come over here and click on Yours. These are the fonts that you have on your computer. It pulls them up right here. And I mean, I've downloaded tons of free fonts, so I have more fonts than, what comes with your computer normally. But I usually stick with a couple. The ones that I really like are this Chelsea Market, the RNS Camilla, and the Sacramento. These make for a very clean picture. If you have something like numbers, the sketch block or smash open makes it great to put your numbers on. And I'll give you a quick demo. Like if you were to do numbers, you click Add Text, pops up a new box, and say you had 10 must-see vacation spots. You put in your number 10, and you can make it bigger, smaller, however you want to do. And it also, sketch block is another good one for numbers. But that's not what we're doing here. We are going to do Add Text and Farm Unit and Study. It's just very basic. It's not anything flashy. This is just a very basic homeschool post for me. So, more than likely, I'm going to just use one font. And this will probably just be my picture. Simple and done. But I want to show you how to do a few other things. Now, one thing you have to remember is, since you're layering pictures, you might have to move things around to try to get to your text again. I always try when I do my text to pull this side out so it's easier to grab. If you have it on your white board, instead of trying to grab it, you can grab over here. Simple tip. If I lost you there, it's nothing that you really need to worry about. So let's say, let me see here. Let me pull up one of my pictures. 12 staycation ideas in Lexington, Kentucky. Okay, so for there you would do your picture. And I always, again, this is just a personal preference, I put my numbers all the way to the left there. Slide it over so that they're easier to grab if I need to move or edit them. And then you can do your 12 with that, or like this. And change the size. You just pull on the corner there. And then you click another text box. Vacation ideas. And usually, for the RNS Camilla, it's very clean. It's not a bold font. This is something that you would use for your not attention grabbing text. And what I mean by that is staycation ideas. Yes, that's an important part of my title, but my attention grabbing text would be Lexington, Kentucky. So staycation ideas, and then you click Add Text, and then in Lexington, Kentucky. This I want to stand out. So I would come over and click my bold text that I want. Change it to fill up the space, like that. So this is another way that I could have done that picture. You just have to mess with it and what looks good. If you don't like this thin adjust this real quick. If you don't like this thin text, you could use something like Sacramento, like this Sacramento here. And just make sure it flows correctly. Some other texts that I like, this tall, dark, and handsome is good. You have to mess with it. Sometimes it looks good in certain ones, sometimes it doesn't. This ultra is good. It's nice and thick and chunky. That's good for something like the number 12 as well, or a word that you want to grab their attention on. Some other ones that I like to use, let's see. For the longest time I used this Sue Ellen, and I still see a lot of people use it, but I've noticed that it doesn't grab as much attention on Pinterest, and people seem to skip right over it. And the same thing with this shadows into the light. Everyone seems to be using that text now, so it doesn't really grab anyone's attention anymore. So it's good for something that you don't want to grab, like not your attention grabbing text. You have ones like this brush tip Travis. Oh, helps if I have the text clicked. It's just, you want to make sure that it's easy to read, and something like this isn't always easy to make out. You want to make it very easy and clean for your readers to be able to read. This one, it's a kind of messy. If you're doing something on schools or back to school, that would be a good text. I like the billow swash here. This is a very clean scroll text. Play ball is a very bold, clean text. Is another good one. This one here, it's very, as you can see, it's big. I think I've only used it once out of the hundreds of pictures I've made. This one here, it puts your letters in little bubbles here. This is good for your numbers. You know, your 12. I see people using it, and I personally don't like the way it looks, but you might find that your readers respond to it. It's all about getting people to your site and who responds to what, so it's always good to play around with. And the same thing with this one here. It's good for your numbers. This one here is good for eye-catching text as well. It kind of pops out. Something like that would be good on, say, like a red. I think. Yeah, see, the inside of it takes on the color of whatever your banner is. So something like that on, say, a red with white text would pop a little bit. So let me turn my banner back white. And coming down here some more, they have some other great fonts. Great Vibe. Oh, again, I need to select my text. Great Vibe is another good one. Nice and clean. This ostrich inlines is another good clean one. These are very thick and in-your-face texts that are good for your numbers and stuff. These vampire scroll ones I would only suggest them for Halloween related stuff, and even then it's very kitschy. It doesn't, I personally don't like to use them at all for anything. And then you come down here to your basics. This Emily's Candy can be a good one sometimes. Unkept can be good as well. But you just need to play around with the fonts and what you think looks best and go from there. I'm going to go ahead and put my text back in. Make sure that my banner is white and not gray. And turn around. And once you have your text back in here, on your text. Move it around. You always want to make sure that it fills up your from side to side, and you don't want it to be too big. If I was going to type in, you know, free printables, you don't want this all on one line, and let me show you why. Even though you're using a good font, something that small is not going to be very easy to read in a small Pinterest scrolling down a wall on a small Pinterest image, and it's also not going to be very eye-catching. So something like this you would want to split into two lines. So that's always something to be aware of. You just want to make sure that your text is big enough to catch your eye. It's not too big that it takes over your whole picture. And oh, I just deleted all the text. And you want to make sure that it's in a font that isn't going to be hard to read. It's not going to basically kind of take over. Why isn't this switching to the text that I want? Now Pinterest is giving me issues, or PicMonkey is giving me issues. So I'm going to have to close out and start this over again, because I apparently angered it by showing you all the different texts. And that's fine. But you get the basic idea. Once you're done, you come up here and click Save. You can rename it. This is the quality. I usually pick the middle one that it comes on here. This shows you the file size, so if you need to be under a certain file size, you can select the different ones. This one is a really high quality, but it also makes your pictures really big, so I usually stick with the middle one. Click Save to my computer, save, and you're good to go. Thank you for watching, and follow me on YouTube and The Frugal Navy Wife for more info.